Here's a Innovator 2900, which I think Portec either bought or owned at one time. Can't really find any information on them. Been looking for one for 5 or 6 years. Finally found this one at auction, and it's in good shape. Really low hour machine. The hour meter works at 165 hours. Engine's dry. It's got hammers and teeth I've never seen on any grinder, but especially the Innovators I'd seen for sale. But it's got these really big hammers. They're 3 inches thick. Each one's got 2 teeth. They're completely ruined. They've welded and torched on them, and the teeth are no longer available, or the hammers. And I'm going to have there's a water jet company in Tucker, Georgia, I believe, said they can make them. I think I'm just going to take a Duratec 3010, 4012, I think they're the same tooth, and just make a little square thing there with a little lip that they go to. But these guys probably never greased them, but the bearings they shot, I believe there's supposed to be 3 of these hammers on the rotor. There's 6 rods. I think every other rod has a hammer, and opposite of that, every other rod has a spacer to keep this plate and that plate spaced. And there's one big spacer in the middle, and I believe one of the hammers was missing, and instead of them putting on opposing sides, they kept running it, and it wasn't balanced, and they ruined the pillow block bearings. And I guess that's the reason I was able to acquire one, because usually you only see about one Innovator a year for sale, and it's never in my part of the country. But they got the back bearing off. That rotor's got to come out because the axle has a collar that's turned on the shaft. Everything has to go on from this way, so it has to come out of the rotor, and then everything has to go on that way. And then there's a threaded nut that goes on this side with some spring washers. I believe those down there are the anvils, since this machine don't have screens. I don't know if you run it with all of them in, or the more of those anvils you have in, the smaller mulch you have, that slides through, and then the hammer will swing through there. I assume maybe for primary reduction stumps and stuff, you possibly take those out. I like this machine because of the simplicity of it. There's no conveyor, just pukes out the side. You don't have to deal with the belt and another motor and all that crap and folding it up and whatnot. So to take that rotor out, this frame here, it has bolts on every corner. It goes all the way through. I've pulled those out. Take the track hoe and pull the tub off. Take these out, and then I can lift the floor off. This piece of steel that the roller in every corner rides on is bent in some places, like right there. So it's rubbed this floor. I have to build that up while it's off and straighten all this so it rides evenly and isn't wearing the floor. This is this machine, I think they made these late 80s, early 90s through the mid 90s. And so it's kind of early. This floor doesn't tilt up, but some of these machines had a conveyor that would clip on right there, and I guess there's a chain that goes through and locks in on the back side there. It's got the remote here, and what I was going to do is put a cylinder here from that upright to the floor on both sides and plug it in the conveyor hydraulics, and then put some hinges on the other side, so when I need to work on it or something happens, I can just pull these 4 bolts out, tilt it up, do what needs to be done, and then just put these back on to keep it all tied together. But I haven't found anybody that knows anything about these machines so far. I don't know, maybe somebody will write me and tell me they're all the stuff they don't like about them, but I think it'd be a good first grinder. Everything looks good except the bearings and the hammers. I guess some complete idiots got a hold of it, like some of the other stuff I've gotten and fixed up, and they ruined it really fast. They ruined it so fast they didn't have a chance to ruin everything else. A lot of these 2900s only had 3 axles. This one had 4. Not sure if that had something to do with the bigger engine or earlier design. I believe this is the color malt. It's either to keep dust down or the color malt that goes back in and dumps into the rotor. You got your fuel tank and hydraulic tank here. I'm not very familiar with these hammers, but looks like very barbaric primary reduction, which is what I wanted. I want to be some for higher grinding for land clearing, and I bought that HD16B dozer. I want to get a KG blade on it, do some